This could be America's next national park.
We're Kalyn and Joseph, and we live and travel full-time in an RV with our rescue pup Trinity and rabbit Ollie. We've visited 54 national parks so far across the country, from the majestic Yellowstone and Yosemite to the quieter and more remote parks like Voyageurs, Channel Islands, and the Dry Tortugas. While exploring southern Arizona, we stumbled upon Chiricahua National Monument, a land full of towering pinnacles and balanced rocks that has tried to become a national park 3 different times and is still caught up in Congress.
This is so pretty!
We wanted to know whether this place truly deserves national park status.
I feel like one of the prerequisites of a really good national park is that there is no cell service.
So today we're setting out to see as much of Chiricahua as possible and decide for ourselves if it has the geographical and cultural significance to earn that coveted title.
It's
Moment of
time
truth.
to talk about whether this should be national park instead of national monument. We are heading to what could be America's next national park. The closest we could find a boondocking spot for it was like over an hour away. It's very remote, but I'm excited to just kind of check everything out. We should probably try to pronounce the name.
Chiricahua.
Chiricahua. So
Chiricahua.
I'm pretty sure this is right. We did our research, and from the NPS official website, it was like, think of a cheery cow, not a happy cow.
Not a happy cow, a cheery cow.
Chiricahua. Chiricahua means wild turkeys.
Chiricahua. Chiricahua. We got it right.
I feel like this was a little bit overkill right off the bat. I know that the highest point that we're going to be driving to is like over 7,300 feet elevation or something.
And our boondocking spot's at like 5,000?
No, it's at 3,800.
3,800,
yeah,
so we're doubling.
So there's going to be a big difference.
If you're not aware, you can usually plan about 5-degree difference in temperature for every 1,000 feet you go.
So pro tip, if you're trying to find boondocking in the winter, go low. And if you're trying to find boondocking in the summer,
go high.
Go high. Chiricahua is technically a national monument. It was designated in 1924 by Calvin Coolidge and then later expanded to the 12,000 acres that it is today by Franklin D. Roosevelt. But I was looking up because I was curious the difference between a national monument versus a national park. And I'm sure money has something to do with it, like money allocated.
We'll cover some of that in a bit, but I think that's the case too, because there's some national parks that I feel don't fit this criteria.
I know, and you are gonna get to say that.
I'll get my moment.
What I had for definitions is a national monument is intended to preserve at least one nationally significant resource. So it's usually smaller, it lacks diversity of attractions, but a national park, instead of just one, is more of a variety of resources that it's protecting, and it usually has like natural, cultural, scientific, and historical resources, and it's usually a lot larger. Like I'm thinking Big Bend at 801,000 acres. You know, to encompass, versus the 12,000 acres of Chiricahua. But I know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking St. Louis Gateway Arch.
Which is on what? 2 acres? 3 acres?
It's a little bit more than that. I think it's 0.19 square miles. It is literally just an arch.
And
it's
I really
not protecting a natural resource
that's what
of
I was
anything.
thinking. Like,
and I don't know that there's much cultural there. It's culture to the west. It's the gateway to the west, but the arch didn't exist when pioneers were going. Sorry, people of St. Louis, I'm sure you're very proud
they're very excited
of your
about
national
their claim to
park.
fame.
It should be a national monument. It just
I
doesn't
mean,
make any sense with the criteria that is here.
Yeah, I don't know why St. Louis got that designation.
But
someone's
we
gonna have to
sidetracked.
explain it to me. So anyway, our whole thing going into this is whether, according to the national park definition, where there's an abundance of natural resources, cultural resources, historical significance, will we walk out and say, yes, this should be a national park? Do you think we'll be driving all the way up there? In the snow on the mountains?
I'm thinking so. I did not expect snow today. I don't know why I didn't expect snow when you were telling me the elevation, but it looks like we might be in for some winter weather.
We might see snow, and then I won't have brought my winter coat for naught.
Meanwhile, I'm over here in a hoodie. I did bring a spring jacket to
You
put
brought
over
a
the hoodie.
spring jacket? You might be cold.
I might be chilly.
I don't know if there's anyone in this
I see no.
fee booth. It's supposed to be free,
Okay, we've got
but see if there's a map.
trailer drop. No fee! Free entry since 2014.
Wow.
That's probably something that will go away if it's a national park.
Just don't bring your trailer. There's a little cemetery over there.
I wonder if that's the cultural.
Is that the cultural significance? Anything?
So this is where Swedish immigrants Neil and Emma Eriksson
Oh yeah,
are buried.
okay. I was reading about them. They're the ones that started a ranch around here. So I think this was like the cultural part of the National Monument.
Okay, check number one.
Check.
We've got some cultural historical relevance.
Right there. Okay, continue on.
Okay, we need to make it to the visitor center. We haven't even made it a 1/10 of a mile into the park yet. Park? Monument. It's not a park, it's a monument.
Might be a park. What are you doing? What?
Hang on,
What?
hang on,
What,
hang on,
what,
hang
what?
on, hang on.
I was trying to get video
I
of
know,
the pretty rocks.
but you gotta
see
see-
the pretty rocks.
You've got to see this sign.
What did the sign say? Back here? Cody Crossing.
What are they?
Have you ever seen one?
It looks like a monkey. And the reason I had to back up initially is because I thought they were brontosauruses. Like, I thought, I was looking at them backwards and I'm like, we have got brontosauruses? Is somebody playing, what is a Cody? Do you know what a Cody is?
I think I've seen them.
I have no idea
I think
what a
I've
Cody
seen them
is.
in a zoo.
Okay. Well, now I want to see a Cody. Am I pronouncing that right? Cody?
I hope so.
Coati? Cody. I'm going with Cody. I didn't know I wanted to see one when we got here. Now I want to see one. Are you not supposed to touch the finger things?
I don't, it says point, please.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you're not supposed to touch that to that. They have a timeline here of cultural history, so there's definitely a lot of culture. So I think our game plan is we are gonna drive the rest of the scenic road, is Bonita Canyon Road.
That's going to give us the major overview of the
Yes.
park, and then we're going to dive deep with a hike a little bit later on.
Chiricahua National Monument was first proposed as a national park in 2022 by Democratic Senator Mark Kelly. In a public statement, he said Chiricahua Monument is a natural wonder and deserves to be a national park. This designation will boost tourism in southeastern Arizona and create more jobs in the region. But the bill didn't gain enough support in Congress. It was introduced again in 2023 alongside a companion bill by Republican Juan Ciscomani. Even with bipartisan backing, the proposal still didn't pass. Now, 2 years later, Ciscomani is making a third attempt.
Today, I'm testifying in support of my bill, H.R. 6380, the Chiricahua National Park Act.
Supporters believe this would bring more tourism dollars to southeastern Arizona, but opponents argue that this landscape can't support the infrastructure needed for a significant increase in visitors. 14 indigenous groups with ties to this land have also expressed concern about additional vehicle and foot traffic, especially near sacred sites and burial grounds. These are the questions in the back of our minds as we continue our drive up Bonita Canyon Road, because deciding whether a place deserves national park status isn't just about its beauty. It's about access, preservation, impact, and who ultimately benefits from that designation. So today, we're exploring Chiricahua through all of those lenses.
Look at those rocks up there. That's so pretty.
It didn't take long. We got into the
I
canyon
know.
and instantly random rock formations have appeared.
Holy cow, this is really close to the rocks. That's so pretty. And these are hoodoos that are similar to Bryce, but I think these ones are made by volcanic activity.
Yeah, it's not like sandstone that's been eroded away. It's volcanic, like, uplift, I'm assuming.
Whatever they are, they're cool.
You can smell the trees and pine, which is something you don't get in the desert all that often. Like, you get used to the arid desertness. But through here, there's a stream down here, and every time we've gotten out of the truck so far, I'm smelling trees, pine.
You gonna finish your thought?
Am I gonna? It's a whole experience.
I
I've discovered a vlogger in her natural habitat.
I was trying to think that this could be a cool photo if I'm like sitting on the rock looking up. You want to take one for me?
So you can see the top of the formation?
Yeah, so see?
Okay.
See like that.
I don't think I can squat nearly as low as you,
So
but
if you could just get like a picture.
you in focus?
Yeah.
Okay, take a look at these. I'm just gonna stay in this position.
You might get stuck
I
there.
think I am.
Good job, babe.
Okay. Help.
You.
All right. Ooh, much better. I feel like one of the prerequisites of a really good national park is that there is no cell service. And as you can tell by our map, it looks like we're out in the middle of a black hole.
There's nothing.
There is no cell service out
Let's
here.
see what I've got.
You got SOS. So, you know, it's another check for the potentially being a national park in my book. Snow! We got snow!
First patches of snow! Come with me, because this is just the juxtaposition of this.
Where are we going?
It's not too far! Okay, look at this desert cactus.
Oh, that's funny.
And then
That's funny.
snow right next to it. These are those sword plants that if you run into them, ooh, ow, that really hurts. So
Yeah, you think you'll just brush by.
I know,
But
and then
they'll-
it's like these are razor sharp.
They'll chop your leg off.
I feel like we keep getting distracted, but that's the whole point of a scenic drive is
Exactly.
you just find random
You
things and
hit the
stop.
pull-offs, you run a half a mile back down the road so you
It's
can
not
see
a half a
snow
mile.
by the thing. I am feeling the elevation change though, not
I
just
do
in
too.
the temperature.
The breathing.
I'm walking up a hill and I'm going like, whew, this is a little tough. Look at this view. We just came around a corner and it's like it just wide opened up
That's
over
gorgeous.
here. And we got snow on the mountain in front of us.
This is so pretty. We made it to the top. Not the highest part in the park, but the highest you can drive to. Oh, that must be Sugarloaf Mountain then.
It looks like a Sugarloaf to me. I feel like Sugarloaf Mountain has to be one of the most popular names for mountain. Every state I'm in, it seems like, oh, we're going to Sugarloaf. Okay, parking.
Yeah, I don't know where you're gonna park.
Can't park there, can't park here. That's no spot. Oh, this person just got here.
Yeah.
Somebody made a snowman.
Aww.
It's melting, but oh, there's parking. We got a spot.
We got a spot?
We got a spot.
Okay. It's already a lot colder up here, so I'm very, very glad that I made this decision this morning.
Just rub it in, why don't you?
You have a spring jacket. Look at how thick that is.
Shut it. The part that bites is that you kind of told me going into it that I should probably take a coat because of elevation, but I didn't think about snow. So we couldn't drive the 6 miles up here without doing the Massai Scenic Loop as well. It's a half-mile trail. And the thing with this viewpoint is you're kind of on top of everything. So you're kind of getting to see, I don't know if they're called hoodoos, but you're getting to see the rock formations from up above.
This looks interesting.
Are we going to Mesa Verde here? I can't.
I guess it's too icy.
Caitlin's like, just make a handprint. There we go.
There.
Well,
I think we're done.
if you're expecting the Maasai Nature Trail to be a nice little, sidewalk, don't. It actually has a good bit of up and down,
Yeah.
which again, you're gonna feel because of the elevation.
But I
Shortness of
love
breath.
just seeing the tops of these.
One-
Are they called hoodoos?
That's what we're
Are
calling
they
them.
called pinnacles? Are they called columns?
Pinnacles. I think they're called pinnacles and columns.
Okay.
I think you got it. But yeah, I gotta get out of the way for the car here. Hold on. We'll let him go by. But totally, if you're coming here, you do need to make the drive. It's a short 6 mile drive. Absolutely beautiful. Lots of different things to see on the way up. Do the little hike and then get in your car and go explore even more.
Go do another hike.
Like we're gonna do. And jacket update. I think you're fine with a hoodie in late January if it's sunny out. The sun beating down, I am sweating. Now, I did also leave a mic back at the truck, so I had to go run and do that. So that may be playing a role, but I'm warm enough in my spring jacket.
I thought this was a good choice. And then, yeah, the sun beating down, it really does make it warm, and it's not too windy, which I feel like if it was windy, then you'd really need the winter jacket, but I would have been fine in a hoodie too.
So possibly the best advice is be prepared for all weathers. Like bring a winter jacket just in case you get up here, it's super windy, super cold, but also have something comfy that you can wear if it's, you know, mild. Someone's leaving. Either they didn't find a parking spot or there's no parking spots.
We got parking.
Not a lot though.
Straight ahead though.
Yep, that's the one we're going to.
This trail is Echo Canyon Loop Trail, 3.3 miles round trip. And the reason why I picked it is because as opposed to Massai Point, where you're gonna be above the pinnacles looking down, this one is gonna take you down like right through them, right next to them, which I think will be really cool.
That is a super cool rock formation.
It looks like an alien spaceship.
Yeah, that works. Beam me up. I like it. Cool, you gotta see it from this angle because it looks a whole lot more precarious when you're down here. Here, get in the shade.
Okay.
And then turn up.
Ooh, yeah. That looks like that's gonna fall over.
It just looks like it could slide right down on you. Here, we're just gonna keep moving. Isn't it like the Greek god Atlas, who's like,
oh, is it?
don't I look like I have like the world on my shoulders?
Yes, you do. That is quite a big world right there.
What are you doing?
I'm trying not to die.
Oh my goodness, Kalyn.
Well, no, I feel like I could get a really cool sunbeam thing with this rock. Just have to.
Do you realize how many deaths in national parks start with? I feel
This
like I
isn't
could.
a national park.
I feel like I could.
This isn't a national park.
I
Yeah.
feel like I could really get this good view if I could just stand on the edge of this cliff.
You are just gonna love this. Everyone's gonna love this shot, and they're gonna be like, Kalyn, that was like the best shot you could have ever gotten. We couldn't have watched this video without it.
Thank you for getting up safely. Oh, that is a cool rock formation that you were shooting.
Are you ready for my awesomeness?
I'm ready.
Look at the sunbeam.
Oh, that's going in the intro.
See?
That's gonna be.
I told you.
That shot was in the intro. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Okay, worth it. At least worth it because you didn't die. Holy Toledo! It just doesn't quit.
You could just see views for miles.
It's so cool.
When you're up at the top of the road and you're looking down on all these hoodoo pinnacle things, you know that they're big, but you don't realize how massive until you start walking down into them through this trail.
I don't think we're halfway through the trail yet, but I already feel like this is one of those hikes that is going to be very hard to really convey how beautiful it is on camera. We're doing our best. We're stopping at literally every stop off, getting multiple clips of video of all the hoodoos. It's just so vast. They stretch out so far and there's so much diversity. All of them look different. And now we're coming down the hill and into a stream. I do have one quick concern though, and that is that we have been going down and down and down. And at some point, we're gonna have to start going up and up and up.
Well, that's why I was reading and they said do this trail counterclockwise.
Which we are.
For elevation purposes, so I'm hoping it's more of a gentler slope up.
I sure hope so, because
I don't know.
the people that we have met coming up who have decided to take this trail clockwise, as they get toward the top, they seem to be pretty tired up.
Echo Park. So can you shout and it echoes?
Oh, you know I want to try.
I don't.
You know I want to try. Hang on, hang on.
This is just.
Hang this.
It's the
this.
nature's so
Hang on.
peaceful.
Hang on. Ready? I'm gonna do it right here. Hello. Kinda.
People are gonna think you're crying for help.
I'm not crying for help.
I know, but there's other people on this trail that are gonna be like, oh my word, someone fell off a pinnacle.
Okay, let's try this. Echo!
At least some hiker up the trail got his sense of humor.
All right, we've got a Y in the trail. Which way are we going? We've got
We
Upper
definitely
Rhyolite.
need to go left because
Okay,
Rhyolite, that's gonna take us into the wilderness.
okay.
And we don't have time for that. So in terms of weather,
Chiricahua National Monument should be, I almost fell over, a national park or not. I found a brochure from the NPS and I downloaded it, and it had like all the criteria that was required basically for something to become a national park. And one of those things was its natural beauty. So there are a few things here, like does it have rare and diverse plant or animal species, or a natural landscape that is vanishing due to humans, encroaching on it? Does it have exceptional diversity of geological formations, dramatic topographical features? I feel like that's a point for that. And then whether it's of geological importance, so if they are like scientifically studying something here and they really need like more money to be able to do that. So we need your opinion.
My opinion. So it's hard not to grade on a curve because we've been to so many other national parks, some of which I'm like, I'm not sure this should be a national park. So I'm trying not to compare it to those ones and like let it stand on its own 2 feet. But just based on the one day we've been here, from the drive and then this hike, I'm leaning toward a yes on this, because while we've seen hoodoos and Bryce and we've seen rock formations in places like Pinnacles, I feel like this park has a unique character to it that isn't duplicated in those parks.
I was thinking very similarly, because the Bryce Canyon hoodoos are made of that sandstone. I believe this is volcanic activity. The shape is very different than Pinnacles National Park in California.
But I do feel like this one compares most to Pinnacles because the rock is similar, it's the bouldery type stuff, but it's still very, very different.
Yeah, I would agree. So I feel like for the natural part of the national park, this gets a yes from us.
I've got to hand it to you, Kalyn, because
Why?
We have been going up a much more gradual incline on the way up. We're not back yet, but it has been a very steady up. It's been very doable. As you can tell, I'm only slightly out of breath. So I'm gonna say it now, I'm gonna call it. If you come to do the Echo Canyon loop, if you do the Echo Canyon loop, do it counterclockwise. Trust us, counterclockwise.
I think this is our last connector trail. This up is an up, but it's not like super bad. It is in the shade though, getting towards the end of day. So I kind of wish I had my winter coat now.
I'm feeling good. I've got my coat hoodie combo. It's just right. So I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I was the winner on outfits today. I don't know about you, I am ready for food.
I'm so hungry. PB&J sandwiches.
Awesome, thank you. If you don't know which one's yours, I can't help you.
It's got hearts on it. We have not eaten lunch. It's 4 o'clock right now.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And we're almost at the parking lot. So we're like, let's just sit and eat this. We really wanted to make sure we had enough daylight as possible so we could get all the footage in. Although you were seen in the visitor center.
This is a dark sky location. So if you want to come and see like an unpolluted or very minimally polluted sky, this is one of the places you can go. I kind of wish we were staying here later, but we'd have to stay till midnight. And no, that's not an option.
I don't think that's going to work. Plus, it's very hard to film in the dark.
It is.
Especially to like just get the envision of the night sky and the Milky Way and stuff. We got to work on our skills with that. But our next kind of criteria about this park is the cultural aspect.
I struggle with this one because I don't understand like how important culturally does it have to be? Because when I think culturally important, I think like battlefields, or I think like the Oregon Trail where thousands of people went across. So I don't know how to grade this one.
Right. So the NPS criteria brochure says, and maybe this will help you out. So it says,
I appreciate that.
It says events that have made a significant contribution to broad natural patterns of United States history, from which an understanding and appreciation of those patterns could be gained. So I guess thinking about like your Oregon Trail situation of like that was westward expansion into the gold rush and things like that, which it shaped a lot of American history. It could also be an exceptional historic or artistic significance that illustrates a way of life or culture.
Ooh.
So when I think of that, I think of Mesa Verde, where we had all the cliff dwellings, and that national park, even though it's beautiful and it has the canyon, primarily it's the cultural aspect of, what did that guy say? The ranger said it was like the only national park that was based off of people.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Didn't
think
he say
so.
something like
I think
that?
so. Because it was based on the people dwelling in the cliffs. Like that was what made it a national park.
So I feel like here, where we have the Swedish immigrants that built that ranch on the land that was original, but then even before that, you have all the Native Americans that were here and using this as hunting lands and living on it. There's not really an event that I could point to that has cultural significance. Just from what we've learned, like in the visitor center and everything.
Something that has had broad impact across the rest of the nation.
Right. So for this one, I'm like, I kind of maybe give it a half point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there's some cultural relevance there, but significance is a hard.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
I'm not sure.
That's just our opinion.
But then again, if we want to grade on a curve, let's talk about St. Louis.
Oh my word, he has to bring that up again. Now this last thing we want to talk about wasn't on any brochures of criteria of national park, but it is important, I think, to think about, and that is the infrastructure. Could the infrastructure handle more people coming because it's a national park and people want to check things off?
And I don't think this park would ever be Yellowstone, Yosemite, or something like that.
It's remote
But
too.
if you do make it a national park, like you said, people are going to want to check it off, and so people are going to come, and I don't think the parking lots can handle it. There's only 3 parking lots, and I think the most parking spaces are like 21 in one of them. Plus there's a bunch of roadside pullouts. I say a bunch. There's probably like 7 or 8, and all of them can only handle one or two cars.
I did find that on average, there's about 60,000 people who visit this national monument per year. So if it did go up and if they did have to like expand the parking lots, I just don't know that there's really space for them to do that because they're kind of on the edge of cliffs and canyons. So I don't know, that is something to think about, to factor in. I don't know that it could hold a ton more.
There are other options. We have been to national parks like Glacier, where they will run a shuttle system to help relieve some of the traffic system. Zion has some roads that are actually closed to the public and they just run shuttles up them.
Timed entry too.
So they could do something like that. They could do something like timed entry. So there are options. And like Kalyn said, it's not the end all be all of whether or not it could become a national park, but is it national park ready? I'm not so sure. Well, Chiricahua.
I know, wild turkeys. So now that we've spent the day in the park, could this say National Park? I don't know, what do you think?
Oh, you're gonna have me go first?
You get to go first.
Okay, well I have 2 answers. Answer number 1 is if I personally was in charge of making it a national park, I probably wouldn't, and here's why.
Okay.
To me, it falls more in the like state park venue. It feels like a beautiful place. Beautiful places to hike. There's no shade whatsoever on the park itself. I am just someone who's thinks national park is just that next level up. Not to make everybody completely angry at me, if I'm taking all the national parks into consideration, there are other national parks that I would feel actually would rank a little bit below this one. I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna name names.
We've been to 53 of them.
Yes.
Wait, no, 54 of them so far.
Yes.
So I feel like we do have a good handle on a lot of the national parks in the country.
So if I was a congressman voting on whether or not this should become a national park, I would probably vote yes,
okay, so
even though personally I'm a no.
I feel like you just straddled the line of having both answers.
I tried to.
So I'm gonna say a definite yes
really?
For me.
Okay.
Yes, because
I can see it.
I think it's the dramaticness of the canyon that we walk through, of the spires. Like every time we walked around a corner of the hike, it was like, oh my word, this is so beautiful. I can't believe this. Like, I think it deserves more significance. So that's what I am going to say. But we wanted to hear from you.
Yes.
Like based on what we have shared today, knowing that we have not been able to do an overview of the entire park.
But I do feel like we showed the highlights. I
did.
really do feel like
did.
we showed the best that is there based on our research.
Right, so what do you think? Are you team Joe, no it shouldn't? Or are you team Kalyn, yes it should?
Team curmudgeon Joe, that's me.
No, it's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. We really hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new here and you liked it, we'd love to have you hit subscribe if you found it somewhat fascinating and informative and maybe even think we're a little bit funny. We'd love to have you here. We post every single Friday. Typically, we're posting like RV style vlogs. So we travel full time in an RV and we share projects and we share hidden gems that we find along the way, wacky attractions, and just what life really looks like on the road. So we would love to have you join us next Friday. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you then.